Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today on Tuesday, October 27th, we had one of the biggest and most anticipated earning reports of the kind of quarter three 2020 earnings season. This was Microsoft. They're actually reporting their 2021 quarter one earnings report, but this is right around the time when everyone's doing quarter three for 2020, so I'm still kind of calling it that quarter three earnings season, of course. And things went very, very well. As you can see, Microsoft did beat their expectations. They beat their estimates of $1.54 per share. Their actual was around $1.82 per share. The full earnings call and all the stuff isn't supposed to be coming out for like another hour, but this stuff kind of came out early, as it usually does. And again, so we saw a huge beat in the actual earnings per share as opposed to the estimated. Obviously, people are speculating and kind of crunching the numbers and seeing what that's from. So taking a look at the numbers, we had a 1.82 per share adjusted versus 1.54 expected. Revenue, we had 37.15 billion versus 35.72 billion as expected. So there you see a nice little increase in revenue as well. Revenue grew 12% on an annualized basis, down from 13% growth in the prior quarter. So maybe a little bit of slowdown in growth, but obviously still really nice gains year over year, especially with all the coronavirus mess that we have going on. That both helps them and hurts just overall the United States and economy and everything in different ways. But the biggest thing is that the revenue from the Azure public cloud grew 48%, accelerating from 47% in the prior quarter. So they're continuing to grow in the cloud space, which is very, very exciting. They're making a lot more money there. They don't actually disclose the revenue amounts in dollars, but analysts had expected a 44% growth, meaning they expected a little bit of a decline in growth from quarter over quarter, but they actually saw a little bit of an increase, which is good. They're doing better and better in that sector that people think is going to continue to grow and grow in the future. So that should be very, very good for Microsoft. Again, they did release these earnings. They closed right around 213. Right now they're sitting at 212. So we haven't seen like a major run up or anything from these earnings. They're actually down 0.35%, 0.2%. They're pretty much flat after hours, but they are up from where they opened at around 211. So, not anything too crazy. We're not seeing too much volatility, but depending on how this plays out the rest of the night and how Microsoft's able to open tomorrow and do throughout the day tomorrow could be very telling for what we're about to see from the rest of the big tech companies that are going to be reporting. I'm most notably thinking about Apple, obviously the biggest company in the world. I'm assuming that if Microsoft is able to beat that, Apple is it's a pretty safe bet to have a beat as well. They're going to have really, really great numbers, but that doesn't necessarily mean that their stock price are going to be going up because we've seen a ton of volatility. We've seen companies go down off good reports and good future outlooks. But Microsoft is a company, yet again, that had a good earnings beat by a good percentage. It's showing a lot of growth and great signs, and also has a very, very favorable outcome going forward. Now we're actually seeing Microsoft maybe potentially even make a little bit of a run up, which would be exciting. But if Microsoft does have a little run after hours, or even is able to continue that run into tomorrow, that would be very interesting. As we can see, obviously in the last month, they're up around 3%. They've had very good growth this whole year. They're up 50% year to date. But if they start to flirt with these all-time highs around 231, that's where I would start to potentially be interested in making some option plays where they could potentially have a big breakout. But if they're still sitting in the 210, 220 range where they're not even able to break all-time highs, even though they're showing earnings beats and favorable future projections and stuff, then I'm not too excited. Obviously, I had Microsoft shares before this. I'm going to continue to hold those, and things do look good for them going forward, but I'm not going to be probably not going to be making any crazy option plays or anything with them anytime soon, just because I'd like to see them more around all-time highs, making these big breakouts. But I am going to be following very, very closely, again, what Microsoft is able to do the rest of the time after hours. It looks like they're continuing to run up now. I mean, I hope they continue to run up. Again, I have shares, and also I want the stock market and tech in general to do well. And Microsoft, how they're able to do, I think, is going to give us some nice projections based on everyone else is going to do. So I hope this keeps going well, and I hope we have a good rest of the week for the stock market. Again, things have been very, very up and down this week, especially after having a really, really bloody Monday. But things are hopefully looking a little bit better. As far as some plays that I am looking at and am going to be making, Match is a company that I am looking at really, really closely. This is a company I picked up an option for earlier today. They had a very good day. They're up 5% on the day. And they're, up 8% on the week, 16% the last month. Match is obviously the dating company that owns like Bumble, owns Tinder. I think they own pretty much all of the big dating apps. And I think dating apps, or we know that dating apps have been killing it throughout all of quarantine and stuff, and especially as this stuff's going to continue on through the holidays and probably into next year. I think Match is going to be a very, very exciting company to have. I did pick up some options for them today because they are now sitting at an all-time high. Previously, they were at around, I believe it was like 120, 121. So anything above 120 is going to make me want to get interested in some options, looking for big breakouts on the upside. They also have a later... I can't remember exactly what their earnings date is. Okay, their earnings date is November 4th, so we still have some time to get excited about their earnings run up too. So I think there's a lot going on there. I'm still holding on to my Snapchat option plays from before. And then also I'm taking a look at Neo, who is now also nearing all-time highs with a lot of momentum surrounding them. 28.20, yeah, their all-time highs right around 28.40, so they're sitting at about 28.48 now. And I think they are sitting at a potential position for a breakout as well. Their earnings isn't until December 28th, so depending on how the market goes, they still have a ton of time for earnings hype and stuff to build up. But again, any company that's threatening sitting around an all-time high has a chance to just absolutely pop and explode if they can get enough momentum behind them and if we can get a good day from the stock market overall. So those are kind of the plays that I'm looking at. As far as some of the other big companies that have had, I'm thinking about the FANG companies. This is Netflix. They actually had their earnings on October 20th, and we saw they had this big downfall where they were sitting at around 525, and they had this big drop off and have been trading pretty flat since around 488. But they actually did miss on earnings, so I don't think we can compare that directly to Microsoft and what the stock's going to do. So that's why I'm much more interested in seeing exactly what this Microsoft stock is going to do since they beat, and I do expect some hopefully favorable outcomes in the earnings for the rest of the big FANG companies and everything, Facebook, Apple, and being able to base it more off that, whereas Netflix is maybe a little bit of an outlier. I'm hoping at least, because again, we want to see these companies doing well. We want to see them going up. But those are kind of the companies I'm watching out for as far as buying. Those are the option plays I'm making for this week, and that's what's going on. This was the, kind of the Microsoft quarter 1 2021 earnings report video. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below. What plays are you guys looking at making? Are you buying Microsoft? Are you holding it? Are you selling? What are you guys thinking? I'd love to hear any of your thoughts, opinions, whatever, down below. Subscribe to update on my latest content. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.